Have you ever wondered why, even though you're working hard and following all the financial rules they teach us, it still feels like money never quite reaches you? What if I told you the secret to building wealth isn't about saving or working harder, but about understanding how the financial system really works? Imagine escaping the rat race, learning the secrets of the wealthy, and starting to create passive income streams while others continue working to pay the bills. In this video, you'll discover what no one tells you about money and how you can use these secrets to start building your fortune, even starting from scratch. Stick around until the end and prepare to change the way you see money forever. Now, the question is, are you ready to stop struggling and start thriving? Are you tired of following the traditional rules and still feeling like money isn't on your side? What they teach out there, work hard, save every penny, wait for the right moment to invest, doesn't seem to work. And you're not alone. Many people live their whole lives in this cycle without realizing that the real secret to wealth lies in understanding how the financial system really works and how we can use it to our advantage. In this video, we're going to reveal the strategies that the rich don't want you to know. We'll show you how you can get out of the scarcity mindset and start thinking like a real investor. It doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch. The key isn't working harder, but understanding where and how to allocate your resources strategically. Wealth isn't about how much you earn, but about how you make your money work for you. Stay with me and discover how the choices you make today can be the foundation for a prosperous financial future. By the end of this video, you'll have valuable insights into how to build your own fortune without needing an expensive degree or a high-paying job. Prepare to change the way you see and handle money and start your journey towards financial freedom. From an early age, we're taught that the key to financial success is simple: study, work hard, and save. But here's the truth that many don't want you to know. This traditional path rarely leads to true wealth. The problem isn't working hard, but working for others without creating ways to make your money work for you. This mindset of trading time for money is what keeps most people trapped in a cycle of constant effort, but without results. Imagine this. You wake up, work, pay the bills, and at the end of the month, you're practically in the same place. This happens because the system teaches that the solution is to be a good employee and save as much as possible, but never teaches about multiplying resources. It's exactly what Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and other billionaires did. They didn't achieve wealth by working harder, but by investing wisely and understanding the true power of money. Wealth comes from investing in assets, not saving in the bank. Millionaires know that the key is to create passive income streams that continue to grow while you sleep. This doesn't mean you have to quit your job, but that you should start thinking strategically about how to diversify your income streams and how to make your money work for you. They apply their energy to businesses, real estate, and stocks that grow exponentially instead of working for a fixed salary. It sounds bold, but the truth is that many people never question this traditional model. They believe that the only way to get rich is by climbing the corporate ladder one step at a time, while the rich are out of that race. They don't work for money, but for the potential to multiply wealth. The secret is this: create assets, choose the right investments, and use the power of compound interest and smart opportunities to grow. Now, imagine changing your perspective and starting to think like the wealthy. It's not about saving more, but about creating ways to make your money grow. It's not about having a big salary, but about learning how to make your capital work for you. True wealth comes from those who understand the financial game and can position themselves within it, using the rules to their advantage. The first step is to understand that money isn't scarce, and that you don't need an expensive degree or a high-ranking job to start creating wealth. The focus should be on multiplying what you already have. The secret lies in the ability to identify opportunities that others ignore, whether in stocks, real estate, or even your own ventures. The change in mindset starts here: work less, earn more. Instead of looking at the next promotion or salary increase, start building solid foundations of assets. You may not have started with much, but what matters is how you're going to make that little grow. And by doing this, instead of following the traditional work hard, you'll be creating a smarter, more profitable, and much more lasting path. This change starts now, and it's not about being rich overnight. It's about investing time and effort in the right choices, which will result in wealth over time. And at the end of the day, what you'll realize is that it's no longer about how you work, but about how you think about money. Have you ever stopped to think about how the global financial system really works? In school, we were taught to see the financial market as something distant, controlled by governments and large corporations. But the truth is that the financial system isn't a rigid and immutable structure. It's fluid and, in a way, within reach of anyone who understands how it operates. The great powers of the world, such as banks and corporations, may seem like the controllers, but every decision we make in our daily lives also shapes the economy. What few realize is that we, as individuals, have enormous power in the system. Our consumption choices, investments, and even the products we buy directly influence the market. You may not be a billionaire with shares in large corporations, but you can become a smart investor who understands the rules of this game. And for that, it's necessary to understand that the market isn't just for the big players. It's composed of a network where every movement has a collective impact. Contrary to what many believe, it's not the government or corporations that control everything. Although they have great power, individual impact is fundamental to shaping the direction of the market. The secret lies in how each of us positions ourselves within this network. Instead of being a passive spectator, you can be an active player, taking advantage of the opportunities that arise, whether through investments or by taking advantage of the flow of the global economy. Understanding your role within this system is a big step towards starting to thrive. For example, think about how you can make money circulate in your favor. The key isn't simply spending on the things that everyone spends on, but directing your consumption and investments towards what generates more return. The stock market, real estate, and even cryptocurrencies are areas where, if you understand how the process works, you can put your money in motion and generate exponential results. While governments and corporations have power, you also have the ability to influence trends. The global economy is like an orchestra, where each part, however small, has its role. And it's your choice of where to put your money and how to spend it that can generate the changes you seek. Imagine that you have the power to challenge the status quo and use the rules of the system to achieve your own financial goals. That's the power of the investor. The first step for this is to understand how the system really works. Knowledge is your greatest ally. Instead of letting yourself be manipulated by big news or global crises, use that understanding to make more informed decisions. Every purchase, every investment, every move you make is a reflection of the power you have within the global financial system. The trick is to position yourself strategically, and that's what can put you ahead. Now, imagine if you started acting with this knowledge, making financial choices that really benefit your future, instead of simply reacting to what the market says. This is the first step towards true financial independence and the key to no longer being a spectator, but an active participant. By understanding the financial dynamics and your role within them, you'll be better prepared to take advantage of the opportunities that arise along the way. This is the secret that big investors know but rarely share. The right information and the investor mindset are the tools that will make you transform your financial future. Have you ever stopped to think about how banks really operate? From an early age, we are taught to trust them with our money, believing that by putting our resources in an account, we are keeping it safe. But the truth is that banks aren't just keeping your money. They are using your money to profit from it, while you receive a measly interest rate in return. They lend your money to the richest, who know how to multiply it, and you, in practice, are paying for them to generate more profit for themselves. What many don't know is that banks don't work for you but for their own benefit. Every time you deposit into the account, your money becomes part of a cycle where they lend and charge much higher interest rates to those who are asking for loans. Have you noticed that while banks charge sky-high interest rates on personal loans and credit cards, you barely receive anything for the money you deposit? This discrepancy is a reflection of the financial system that favors large institutions and not the average citizen. Now, imagine what it would be like if, instead of simply saving your money in a bank, you started using it strategically. Instead of letting it sit still, you could invest it in a way that it works for you, generating constant and exponential returns. The secret is to make money circulate in your favor, investing in assets that really grow and generate profit. This doesn't just mean buying stocks, but also getting involved in businesses, real estate, or other forms of investment that allow your money to grow while you sleep. When you put your money in a savings account, you are basically accepting that it loses value over time due to inflation, while the bank uses your capital to generate gigantic profits. Instead of being a passive spectator, you need to understand that your mission should be to make your money work for you and not be a profit product for banks. The real secret is to become an investor, whether in real estate, stocks, or other assets that, over time, will make your wealth grow. Imagine if you changed the way you see the banking system and started investing intelligently and strategically. Instead of depending on the low returns of savings, you would start seeking real profitability through investments that appreciate over time. This mindset of investing instead of saving is what many millionaires apply to create and expand their fortunes. The solution is to question the system and look for more profitable alternatives. Instead of getting stuck in the illusion that the bank is the only safe place for your money, you can start exploring other ways to generate income. From stocks to cryptocurrencies, real estate, or even creating your own business. What matters is to start thinking outside the box and understand that saving money in the bank is just a way to miss opportunities. The secret of the rich isn't simply saving money. They know that true wealth comes from making money work. They don't trust banks. They create their own assets and sources of income. Now, the question you should ask yourself is, are you ready to get out of your comfort zone and start building your wealth outside the traditional system? If you really want to change your financial situation, you must start rethinking where and how you put your money. Don't let banks determine the pace of your financial life. It's time to take control. When it comes to building wealth, one of the biggest secrets the rich know is the competitive advantage, or Warren Buffett's famous moat. But what does that really mean? To understand the true essence of wealth, you need to understand that millionaires don't accumulate fortunes just by luck or effort. They choose to invest in companies and assets that have a lasting competitive advantage, something that protects them from competition and guarantees a constant flow of profits in the long term. Imagine a company that has such a strong dominance over its market that competitors simply can't compete. This competitive advantage can take many forms: a strong brand, an exclusive technology, a network of loyal customers, or even a business model that is so effective that no competitor can easily imitate it. Buffett invested in companies like Coca-Cola, and Apple, which have these powerful moats. These companies not only survived over time, but thrived even in times of crisis, because their business model was robust enough to withstand any storm. You may be wondering, how does this apply to you, an individual investor? Well, the key is to identify the companies and sectors that have a real competitive advantage and invest in them before they become popular. For example, companies with a loyal customer base like Amazon or Tesla have an advantage that many others can't imitate, creating a space where growth is almost guaranteed. This is what makes these companies so valuable. They don't just have a good product, but a system that creates loyalty and constant growth. Okay, here's the text translated into US English with some minor adjustments for clarity and flow. For investors, understanding the concept of competitive advantage isn't just about looking for successful companies right now. It's about finding those that have the potential to maintain their success for decades, even in competitive markets. Real wealth isn't built on quick bets, but on investments and assets that stand the test of time and have a recession-proof business model. This takes patience, vision, and a good amount of research, but the payoff is worth it. These competitive advantages can come from various sources. Intellectual property, like patents or trademarks, can create a barrier that prevents competition from entering the same space. Companies like Microsoft and Pfizer have the power to dominate entire market segments simply by having protected patents that guarantee their long-term profits. Other examples include exclusive distribution channels or government contracts that ensure predictable revenue. True wealth, then, isn't just about making good investment choices, but understanding the long-term potential of those investments. If you start looking for companies with real moats instead of chasing the latest fad, you'll be building an investment portfolio that grows steadily without major risks of failure. Investing in competitive advantages means you're buying assets that have a track record of success and are likely to continue generating value in the future. Now here's the interesting part. How do you identify these companies? A good tip is to analyze a company's cash flow, which is how much money it generates from its business model. Companies with moats usually have strong and stable cash flows, meaning they can generate profits regardless of the global economic situation. Another tip is to look at the barriers to entry. How difficult would it be for another company to enter that market and compete directly with the one you're thinking of investing in? For example, think about companies like Apple. It doesn't just sell tech products, it sells a complete ecosystem that customers don't want to leave. Its customer base is huge and loyal, and it can profit from that base by launching new products and services. That's a competitive advantage that's hard to break. Companies like this have what Warren Buffett calls a strong moat, a natural barrier that protects their profit and growth. Furthermore, understanding these competitive advantages can help you predict a company's financial future. If a company has a moat, you can expect it to continue to grow, even if new competitors or market changes emerge. This kind of confidence can give you the peace of mind to hold the investment for years instead of worrying about short-term fluctuations. However, it's important to note that these competitive advantages aren't immutable. The market is always evolving, and companies that have a strong moat today may eventually see their advantages fade. What you need to do is constantly monitor the health of your investment and make sure the company's competitive advantage is intact. Companies with strong moats don't necessarily have to be the most popular right now, but they have a solid foundation that ensures their continued growth. Now, if you're still stuck in the mindset that you need to find the next big market trend, it might be time to rethink your investment strategy. Investing in companies with strong moats means you're not betting on fleeting fads, but building a portfolio based on real, sustainable, long-term value. The secret is to be patient and willing to wait the time it takes for the true value of these companies to reveal itself. And the best part? You don't have to be an expert to identify companies with moats. Start with the big names, companies with recognizable brands, innovative products, and strong cash flows. Then, deepen your knowledge by analyzing financial reports and monitoring the health of these businesses over time. This process of continuous learning is what will make you a smart investor, not just a market follower. The reality is that wealthy people aren't at the mercy of market fluctuations or passing trends. They understand the real value of investing in companies that have a solid and lasting business model. And when you start to adopt this type of strategy, you put yourself in a much safer position to build and protect your wealth in the long term. So, if you want to start following in the footsteps of great investors, start looking for companies with strong moats and invest in them now. This will not only protect your capital, but also put you on a path of steady and sustainable growth, where you no longer depend on luck, but on smart and well-founded strategies. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest taboos in the financial world, the smart use of credit and tax structure. For too long, we've been taught to avoid debt at all costs, to save as much as possible, and to live within our means. However, the wealthiest people, those who really build fortunes over time, know that credit, when used well, is a powerful tool for increasing wealth. Contrary to what we're taught, the secret is knowing how to use credit strategically. When you think of credit, what comes to mind? Most people associate credit with high-cost loans, credit cards with outrageous interest rates, and debts that can drag on for years. But when we look at the great investors and billionaires, we see that they use credit to create more wealth, not to get into debt uncontrollably. The concept here is to take advantage of the financial leverage that credit offers strategically to multiply investments and expand assets in a controlled manner. This is one of the secrets that the rich know, and that we, as beginner investors or ordinary people, don't always realize. They borrow money to invest in assets that generate more money. Instead of waiting to accumulate the capital needed for a large investment, they use credit to make that move immediately, and the return they get on that investment more than compensates for the cost of the credit. In other words, they make money work for them, not the other way around. Of course, for this, it's essential that you know how to control your finances and understand the risk involved. Credit, when mismanaged, can quickly turn into a burden, but when used well, it becomes a tool to boost financial growth. Here, the trick isn't to accumulate debt for the sake of accumulating, but to borrow money to grow your wealth. And this isn't something that most people teach. It's an advanced strategy that can completely change the way you see money. The same principle applies to tax structure. While many people see taxes as an unavoidable necessity, the wealthiest know how to use the tax system to their advantage. They understand how to create a financial structure that minimizes their tax liabilities, thus maximizing the amount of money available to invest and expand their wealth. The key is tax education and understanding how taxes work so you can structure your investments intelligently, avoiding paying more taxes than necessary. For example, investors like Buffett don't pay exorbitant taxes on their income because their sources of wealth are structured so that taxes are levied on capital gains, which are lower than taxes on labor. In addition, they often make donations to charity, which not only helps society, but also reduces their tax burden legally. This doesn't mean being dishonest or illegal, but rather taking advantage of legal loopholes to keep more of what you earn. Now, imagine applying this kind of knowledge to your own investment portfolio. With the smart use of credit and tax planning, you can boost your returns and significantly increase your purchasing and investment power. Instead of just paying the bills every month, you'll be using the financial system to your advantage, creating new opportunities for continuous growth. The secret is to understand the rules and play by them, but with strategy and intelligence. However, it's not enough to just understand credit and taxes. You need to act in a disciplined and consistent manner. Controlling your debts, understanding how credit can be used without exaggeration, and constantly studying tax laws are the first steps to adopting this mindset. Instead of fearing credit, start to see it as an ally, a tool for growth. Likewise, instead of seeing taxes as a necessary evil, use tax education to work in your favor. Understanding the dynamics of credit and taxes may seem challenging at first, but it's one of the biggest differentiators you can have on the journey to building wealth. When you start applying these strategies, you begin to realize that money doesn't have to be accumulated slowly and endlessly, but can be multiplied and expanded if used in the right way. The rich don't live within the limitations of, I can't afford that. They live within the mindset of, how can I make money grow? Therefore, instead of getting stuck in the saving mindset and avoiding credit, start thinking about how you can use these tools to increase your wealth. The real secret isn't avoiding debt, but controlling it and using it to create more wealth. And what about the tax system? Instead of being just a taxpayer, you can become a strategist, taking advantage of the laws to pay as little as possible, while maximizing your profits. The secret of the rich isn't avoiding credit or taxes, but understanding how to use them for their own benefit. By learning to control these two tools, you open doors to a more prosperous financial future where money really works for you. It's time to stop seeing credit as a villain and start seeing it as a powerful ally. And with that, your financial goals will become more and more within your reach. In this video, you learned that true wealth building isn't about blindly following traditional rules like working hard, saving, and waiting for a promotion. The secret to becoming financially successful is understanding how the financial system works and how you can use the rules to your advantage. By adopting an investor mindset, you can start building a solid foundation of wealth without relying on a fixed salary or an expensive degree. First, you understood that the key to accumulating wealth is to create passive income streams and invest strategically in assets with competitive advantages, or moats. Instead of working tirelessly to earn more, you start working smarter, choosing investments that can generate continuous returns over time. This is exactly what rich people do. They don't depend on a job for their financial security, but on assets that grow on their own. In addition, you were introduced to the power of credit and tax structure. What seemed to be something to be avoided becomes a powerful tool of financial leverage. By understanding how to use credit strategically, you can expand your investments and increase your wealth without relying on your own resources. And by understanding the tax structure, you can start taking advantage of legal loopholes to pay less taxes, keeping more of what you earn, and investing more efficiently. This solves a fundamental problem that many face, the feeling of being trapped in the system and without real alternatives to grow financially. The mindset of work harder and save is limited and doesn't solve the problem of accumulating wealth quickly and sustainably. Now you have the tools and knowledge necessary to act strategically and no longer be a spectator. You can become an active participant in the global financial system, creating your own income streams and protecting your assets intelligently. Throughout this video, it became clear that working hard isn't enough. What really matters is knowing how to make your money work for you. By applying the concepts of strategic investments, smart credit, and tax planning, you begin to see the financial world in a new way. Instead of following the rules that the system imposes, you start to control your own financial journey with more security and freedom. Now, it's up to you to take the next step. With the knowledge you've gained, you're better prepared to make more informed financial choices and break free from the scarcity mindset that prevents so many from achieving true wealth. Remember, true financial freedom doesn't come from working more, but from learning to invest intelligently, use credit strategically, and understand the system to your advantage. The prosperous financial future you want is within your reach. Just start applying what you've learned and take action. If you're ready to change the way you see money and start applying these strategies to build your wealth, don't waste time. Subscribe to the channel now to continue learning the financial secrets that the rich don't want you to know. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos, where we'll delve even deeper into how to use the financial system to your advantage. Don't wait any longer. The future of your financial freedom starts now.